各位早晨。
Good morning. The Chief Executive will first say a few words, and then the floor will be open to questions. As you ask questions, please limit yourself to 2 questions. Chief Executive, good morning. Last Wednesday, I delivered my first policy address in my term. There has been much discussion and interest in the community, and I'm grateful to the reporters for giving wide coverage to the policy address. So in your coverage, people can know better about the content and the policy objectives of my policy address. And then in the process, I heard various views in particular. But then overall, it seems that there's a positive review of the policy address. Now, especially for some tenants in subdivided units, they're looking forward to moving into our light public housing with low rentals, and also the living condition would be much improved than the condition they're in now. And then second point is that we heard from overseas friends that there is interest in our various measures to bring in talents. They're trying to see if their family members and friends meet the criteria so they can come to Hong Kong to start a career. And then we hear people have much interest in innovation and technology as well. They support our various measures. For example, the RAISE 1+ scheme that would help to promote innovation and technology. They want to be a part of that development. So we are very much encouraged by the feedback. The philosophy of the policy, the whole purpose of the policy address is to work for the well-being of the people of Hong Kong and the development of Hong Kong. So my team are working hard, and we've actually taken on board many of the views previously expressed. I'm grateful to them, because I believe there's always wisdom among the people and in the various trades. So we're grateful to many different parties for giving their constructive views, political parties, LegCo members, various groups, and also individuals. I'm grateful to them. I would also like to thank the principal officials and also the civil service team for working as one in preparing the policy address. I'm grateful to them for their active participation, and they've come up with various innovative ways to resolve long-standing issues. From now on, the principal officials and the relevant departments will be explaining the content of the policy address to the different policy panels of the Legislative Council. And as you can see, through we also are trying to explain our policies to various parties too. We're working hard on that, and we're grateful to the journalists for their extensive and in-depth coverage of such activities. Now, under the leadership of the principal officials, the different bureau and departments will work together to explain the policy objectives and measures in the policy address. They would also listen to views of LegCo members. Now, in the policy address, there are various policy areas covered with the policy directions mapped out. Now, this is a policy address for the people, so we need to implement all the measures in the policy address, and to do that, we have to stand united. We need the support of the public, so we could ensure the development of Hong Kong, and then we could have a brighter future. The second point I'd like to talk about is about the judicial review ruling on the vaccination medical exemption certificate and the follow-up work of the government. Of course, we know that you are very much concerned about our follow-up action. And I could tell you that we will soon come to a decision, and there will soon be a conclusion on our part. I'm grateful to the Health Bureau and the Department of Health colleagues for doing analysis on the court ruling. We will soon be making a decision, and we'll be announcing it. But I'd like to stress a number of principles. First of all, the government has always acted in accordance with the law. And secondly, the government has the duty to ensure there is efficient and effective protection of public health. Thirdly, as the government acts, it must be based on a sound legal basis. Fourthly, for any acts that may be in violation of the law or professional conduct, the government will pursue the legal liabilities of the parties concerned. So now I welcome questions from the floor. So the floor is open to questions. Please use the microphone we give you to ask questions. Please limit yourself to 2 questions, and please first identify the organization you represent before you speak. On the first row, the lady in white. I'm from Now TV. You asked about you mentioned the judicial review case of the medical exemption certificate. Would you be enacting emergency legislation? Will you amend CAP 599 or CAP 599? And do you think that people think maybe people will say you're not a gracious loser? And then what about different? And also there's censorship about this film. Would it be a case that you won't accept different views to be expressed in artwork? Or now on the judicial review case, we'll soon be making a decision, and we'll let you know definitely. Now, the government will always act in accordance with the law, and as we make any decision, we will, of course, interpret the law first, and then we will act in accordance with the law in making our policies and measures, well, based on our interpretation of the law. But of course, the court may say that we shouldn't interpret the law in such a manner. Now we are aware of this court ruling. As I said, the Department of Justice and the Health Bureau are working hard to analyze the court ruling, and soon we'll make a decision. All along, the government has always acted in accordance with law in anything it did. Now, as for different people expressing views, including government departments, I have made mention of that on other occasions. Everyone is free to have his or her own views on a certain issue. We should allow different people to exercise such a right, and that covers government departments as well. If a government department believes that for a certain issue, they think there's unfairness involved, or it may lead to an accurate interpretation, and then they want to make a clarification, well, that's good. I believe that for different individuals or organizations, as they come to learn about each other's views, that's also a way to enhance communication. Thank you.
Next question on the right, the journalist, the lady over there, the third one.
Free press. First question, the Hang Seng closed yesterday at its weakest level since 2009 during the global financial crisis, and also dipped it after your policy address. Analysts pointed to the Politburo reshuffle and the ongoing commitment to zero COVID policies. Do you agree? If not, what is to blame? Last week, a poll among Hong Kongers gave you first 100 days in office a 30% approval rating. Your policy address received a similarly low rating. What do you think these figures are not higher? Why do you think these figures are not higher among the public? And the minimum wage commission...
Thank you for your 2 questions. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I think everybody knows that the global economic situation is in uncertainty, and there are very many factors affecting the outlook for economies around the world. It is important that we all pay close attention to the development of the economic market. What is important here for the government is to ensure that our systems run smoothly and effectively. We have been monitoring the situation closely. Yes, volatility will be high, but our long-tested systems and response system are in operation all the time. We have a strong response plan for different contingencies. Our monitoring of situation indicates that market activities have continued to go on in an orderly and smooth manner. This is a very important thing for the Hong Kong government. I would suggest investors to monitor the situation closely, assess the risks, and make careful decisions according to their own position. Government is very confident that the systems we have in Hong Kong is effective, resilient, and will be monitoring the situation so that we will ensure market order and market transactions will go on in accordance with what we expect. In regard to opinions about the performance of the government, of course, all comments or commentaries about government performance will be considered by me. I note also there are very many positive comments about the performance of the government and also some of the measures we have suggested in the policy address. As I have mentioned in my beginning in the Chinese speech, people are very keen, particularly those who are living in subdivided flats, to see how they can have a chance to move in our light public housing, which will immediately or very quickly help them to get away from the very undesirable living conditions they are facing every day. And there are also people who are very positive with the recommended measures, such as attracting talents from overseas. Some are very interested to know whether they are also benefactors in this for those who are now abroad. And of course, there are very strong supportive comments of developing Hong Kong into a technology and innovation hub. We will work very hard to ensure that all we have promised to do will be delivered. My team has been working hard to explain the different measures to society, and so far I'm pleased to see that in general there have been positive feedbacks. And of course the demands are high for the government so that we will deliver what we have said we will do.
今日時間關係咧，我哋答多一位。
Now, we're almost out of time, so we will take one more question on the right, the lady in red.
Data News. According to a source, that the quarantine facilities in the Lok Ma Chau Loop will be handed over to the Security Bureau for the reverse quarantine scheme. Is this information reliable? What is the progress of the discussion between Hong Kong and the mainland at the stage? Thank you.
Well, there are always work plans for governments so as to make preparation for all eventualities. I wouldn't comment on internal arrangements, but what is important, I think it will for people to notice, for the pre-quarantine arrangement that we intend to agree with the mainland authorities, it is an arrangement which is done for the first time. There are standards which we need to meet so that it will satisfy the mainland authorities' quarantine requirement, because there will be little point for us to design something which eventually will not be regarded as satisfying the mainland authorities' standard. There are many issues to be discussed and ironed out, although both sides are very active in our discussion of the matter. But as I've explained earlier, a lot of the discussion issues take time to reach agreement. What is most important is also to bear in mind that whatever we do, we should not be creating extra risk to our mainland counterparts, especially when the COVID situation is also a concern in the mainland. So what we will do is we will work hard to try to work out solutions in respect of different issues. It will take time, but we will be working in our full speed. And so far, there is a common intention to see how we can overcome all the issues involved. Thank you very much.
今日記者會嚟到呢度，多謝大家。
That concludes the press briefing. Thank you.